First on the agenda is to approve minutes. Minutes were taken at our regular meeting on the 5th of March 2012. And then we had two special meetings, which were actually budget workshop meetings, one on the 10th of March 2012 and one on the 14th of March 2012.
So moved.
Motion by trustee Perry, second by trustee DeSalvo. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Second on the agenda is public comment on agenda items. Is there any public comment on the agenda items?
Yes. I can discuss on one of the things that you would be discussing during the agenda, right?
Which item is it?
That would be, assuming is number 6.
No, that is not the local law on that. You can talk about number 6. Number 6 pertains to the village treasurer.
Oh, sorry about that, but in the newspaper it was said that it will be discussed today.
To be honest with you, I don't read the paper, so I don't know, but if I can assume that you're here for the motel.
Yes, the
Okay.
residency
Okay.
law.
You have a couple of choices. Number one, that local law will be introduced at our next meeting on April 2.
Okay, that would...
And let me just explain to you 1 second what that means. It's introduced. There's no public comment. Then on April 16th is public comment on that local law. There's a public hearing on that local law that was introduced on April 2.
Okay, so...
And the second option that you have is you can stay for the meeting, and under number 11, public comments, you can talk about whatever you would like.
Yeah, because you see, they were saying about the people they are complained, about the people they are staying.
Yeah, you either have to,
but
you either have to come, you either wait till number 11,
all right.
Okay.
or the public hearing on that local law that'll be introduced on April 2 will be on April 16th.
But I mean, isn't there a process where you would actually approve it here and then it will go to the public meeting? Public hearing, I mean, that's what I thought that there was.
On April 2, the local law will be introduced. And the village board at that point someone can make a motion to set the public hearing.
Okay. And for that, so if no one set the motion for a public hearing, then it will be just introduced, and then it will be, I mean, then it will
No.
become a law, or?
No.
I mean, you will have a
Public hearing.
hearing
Yeah.
on that matter.
Yes.
Ask them whether they've got some complaint, what kind of complaint, why they want to.
We can discuss that at the end of the meeting.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
We should do it now.
Okay. Anything else? Anyone else have any comments on the agenda items? Okay, if not, I'll move on. Okay, let's see. Number 3 is just really formality that the village clerk has given each board member the tentative budget, which I think you have in your packet.
Right.
Number 4, request for facilities to use the parking lot across from Sacred Heart for the farmers market from June 24th through October 28th from 9 in the morning to 2 p.m.
So moved. I'll second it.
Motion by trustee McCormick, second by trustee Saba. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have a memo from Sergeant Scott. Orange County Stop DWI requires the board council resolution authorizing designated official signature on the Stop DWI enforcement contracts. I am requesting that the board authorize the mayor, Sergeant Lavelle, and Sergeant Scott to sign the DWI contracts for calendar year 2012. Penny, anything you want to add?
No, sir. You guys have a copy of the memo from the county?
So moved.
Motion by trustee DeSalvo,
Second.
seconded by trustee Perry. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, the next is a resolution introducing local law and providing for public hearing. Be it resolved that an introductory local law entitled Village Treasurer Residency Requirement be and is hereby introduced before the Board of Trustees of the Village of Highland Falls in the County of Orange in the State of New York. And be it further resolved that copies of the proposed local law be laid upon the desk of each member of the Board. And be it further resolved that the Board hold a public hearing on said proposed local law at the Highland Falls Library, 298 Main Street in the Village of Highland Falls, New York at 7 p.m. on April 2, 2012. Be it further resolved that the clerk publish or cause to be published a public notice in the official newspaper of the Village of Highland Falls of said public hearing at least 5 days prior. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Motion by trustee McCormick, second by trustee Brown. May I have roll call?
Roll call, trustee McCormick.
Aye.
Trustee DeSalvo.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Perry. Mayor Delafield.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next, resolution 2011-2012 budget amendment. Whereas the DPW has worked diligently to clean up the village garage site by recycling scrap metal, which has resulted in an unanticipated revenue of $1,750. And whereas the village board has approved that the revenue received through the recycling of scrap metal be used for the replacement of windows in the DPW garage and to repair the ceiling in the DPW office building. And whereas an insurance recovery from the village insurance company of Gallagher Bassett Cumberland for the DPW plow vehicle damaged during a winter storm has resulted in an unanticipated revenue of $8,245.54. And whereas this revenue has been designated to offset the cost of repairs to the DPW plow. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Board of Trustees approve the following amendments to the 2011-2012 budget as follows. Increase the expense code of A 5010-04, Street Administration Contractual, and increase the revenue code of A2655, Minor Sales, for $1,750. And increase the expense code of A5110.4, Street Maintenance Contractual, and increase the revenue code of A2680, Insurance Recoveries, for $8,245.54.
So moved.
Motion by trustee DeSalvo. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee McCormick. May I have roll call?
Roll call, trustee McCormick.
Aye.
Trustee DeSalvo.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Perry. Mayor Delafield.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next, we have a letter, an annual letter really, from Occupations, Inc. to sell raffle tickets here in the village. It's something they notify us every year, and what we've done in the past is just table this with no action. With a motion, if you care. Motion by trustee Brown, is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by trustee DeSalvo. All in favor?
Just the table, right?
Just a table. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Memo from the deputy treasurer to the water fund, request temporary borrowing of $60,000 from the sewer fund to the water fund in order to meet payroll and warrant expenses to be repaid once water bill collections begin May 1, 2012.
So moved.
Motion by trustee Brown, second by trustee McCormick. May I have roll call?
Roll call, trustee McCormick.
Aye.
Trustee DeSalvo.
Aye.
Trustee Brown.
Aye.
Trustee Perry. Mayor Delafield.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Bills and claims for fiscal year 2011-2012 of $131,260.95.
Make a motion for your bills and claims.
Motion by trustee Brown, is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee McCormick, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, public comment.
Is it? Public comment.
Public comment now? Okay, oh, well, but anyway, I mean, I read this in the newspaper, and that's why actually I was here, that, you know, there will be, this thing will be in the agenda, but it is not. That, you know, kind of brings me to my question is that, I mean, of course, this law that you are passing, or you are, you know, you are introducing, how do you, I mean, who comes up with this kind of law? And, you know, as everyone knows, that actually affects us the most. actually not us the most, it is actually specifically for us, for the hotel, for the lodging people who have their hotels here in Highland Falls. And we just get to hear about it. I mean, something has, I mean, well, what triggered this law? I mean, why are we introducing this law?
Some complaint or something?
This is public comment. No, wait a minute. You can make a you can make a comment.
Okay, I can only make comment, I cannot ask questions or...
It's public comment.
You can ask questions, but you won't get
Excuse
any
me,
answers.
excuse me. It's public comment.
Okay. Well, anyway, that's all I have to say is that, you know, whatever this law has been, that you have tried to, you're trying to introduce is without, you know, concerning us, without even talking to us, is not the right way to do. I mean...
Because this is the business, you know, your business, and when we do the business, we are going to pay the taxes and all these things, you know. So instead, you see, this village, you know, these people, you people are supposed to ask us that how you can improve your business, instead of asking us that you have seen a lot of shops here around here, they are vacant, people, they don't have any business, you see. So instead of encouraging us, you know, so we get the business here, and so the people, they can come here and this thing, and you just say somebody and you just start passing the law and making this law, it doesn't make any sense, you know.
I mean, I'll tell you why this law is not, the law that you are trying to introduce is not a good law. You guys are familiar with the term PCS and TDY. Those are the people who come here and get to station in West Point. Sometimes they're here for 30 days, sometimes they're here for, I mean, they're here till they find the housing. So it could be anywhere from 30 to 90 days. As soon as you pass this, those people will not be able to stay. And those are the genuine people who come in and, I mean, they're gonna go out and stay in Windsor or somewhere else then. That's just one. There are people who work as guard and stay at the hotel. I mean, you pass this law, they're gonna be gone, they're gonna stay somewhere else. That's two. Third, there are contractors who come from outside the state, and, you know, as those contracts are awarded, sometimes they stay 5 days a week, sometimes they stay 7 days a week, and they keep on staying. Those, they can't be staying here. I mean, my thing is that, I mean, this law was, whoever was trying to introduce it, or however it got introduced, no input was taken from us. And I'm sure if you're trying to pass this law, you would have some sort of backing up to this thing, that, you know, there should be some numbers, there should be some complaints, there should be some data that you must have collected to say, all right, you know, we are going to go ahead and pass this law. But, you know, that's all what I have to say right now. I mean, I could go forever, but, you know, since I'm not going to get any answers.
I want you to, you know, there's another opportunity at the public hearing.
Is there anything in writing right now which we can see?
Yes, you can come into the village hall tomorrow and pick up a copy of the law, of the proposed law.
Yeah, proposed, not a law, yeah.
Right, and that's
Okay.
correct. That's
I mean, this
correct.
guy-
We would like to see the proposal.
Okay.
And who and how it's being introduced, and who is behind it, and what are the causes which have come to bring.
But what you can pick up tomorrow is a copy of the law,
Oh,
the
I'll be
proposed
here
law.
2:30 tomorrow.
Just imagine, I mean, this guy, he owns a hotel here, and his son has
But
served.
you don't
and-
have to explain, we'll go through the proper procedure. We are here just to protect ourselves and see what's
I
going on in
understand.
the village,
I understand.
and what is being introduced, and what will become, and how it will become law,
I understand.
If it becomes law.
if it becomes law.
If it becomes law.
Thank you very much.
Public comment?
Yeah, I have something. First of all, you guys are running an apartment, you're running a motel. You've
Wait,
got-
wait,
Okay.
wait a minute.
Address
You gotta
those.
come.
Okay. So they're running a motel, they're not running an apartment. There's people there that have been over a year. This isn't how to run a motel. You guys, you know what the complaints? Everybody in Poland, that's gonna be your complaint.
All right, okay. Yes,
I
sir.
have a question in regards to the transfer of funds from the to the water budget, 60,000. Why are you doing that?
Well, it said to meet payroll, and then it's put back with the May billing.
So your budgetary, is there something wrong with the budget that you made for the water before? As a result, you have to borrow from one fund to feed the other fund? What you did for the budget you shouldn't have had, if you did the budget correctly, this wouldn't have been necessary, correct?
Is that a comment?
I'm just wondering
Okay.
why you're transferring $60,000
I think,
from...
Gus, just to understand that you estimate the water usage, that's the income to pay the bill.
Mhm,
The water usage goes down.
mhm. And
We
is
gotta-
water usage going down?
We gotta borrow.
Well, because the rates are going up, less people...
Well, you can have a wet year, I mean, there's a whole lot of things that contribute to this, let's face it.
Mhm.
But I believe that's where we're at on that, and
Well,
it can correct itself as we go. We can budget
it's not
higher.
going
raise
to
it.
cost us, hopefully it won't cost us any more.
It's not costing
Oh,
any
no.
money right now.
Okay,
So-
anything else? Okay, if not, I'm going to go to board comment. I want to make a comment now to you. Like you saw an article, I guess you're saying you saw something in the paper?
That actually
Yeah.
did say that it's gonna be discussed today.
As most people know here, I haven't looked at the paper in 6 months, but I'm assuming because it's been discussed here at this meeting often over the last several months.
6 months.
Unless someone can, and maybe someone can answer this, I'm sure it's been in the paper that it's been a discussion. I'm assuming, again, I can't back that up. But you know what else I want to tell you? That, and it's nice to see, I guess, a couple of motel owners here, because there's actually there's another large problem out there that you need to be concerned about, and that's the 5-star inns at West Point. Do you know what the 5-star inn is?
Yes, yes.
Okay, there's 2 of them. There's one across the street, and there's one at West Point by the firehouse. They're being sold to Holiday Inn Express, and they will go to Holiday Inn Express. If you talk to military people, you will find that, at least the ones that I have spoken to, that this is the norm. I'm not saying I agree with it, but it's the norm. When they go to other military posts, I'll give you an example. Our engineer is in the reserves as a major, and he goes on these 2-week training periods. And he's told me all the different posts that he's gone to, there's a Holiday Inn Express. So that should be a concern. And when they get their orders to go somewhere, it says on there, you have to stay at the Holiday Inn Express, i.e. the 5-star. That's something new. And I'm not saying that's going to be something new here. So what the motel owners really should do, and I'm not a motel owner, so I'm not sure how good my advice is, but you all should get together.
Yes, I mean,
Okay? So that's an issue for you to know about, okay?
but I mean, as I do still get, TDY and PCS people all the
Yeah,
time. so-
but from now on, you may not, because they're going to be told they can only stay there, because that's where the reimbursement will come from. Okay, that's what I'm being told, okay?
So we are
All
going
right.
to discuss this law on the 2nd or on the 12th?
No, on the 2nd it will not be discussed, but on the 16th it will,
On the 16th, and that will be here or
at the library,
at the library? Okay,
okay?
all right.
Joe?
Yeah, just a couple of comments. I think that if you all take a ride down Havens Road, I think we have to look at some safety improvements there, which means i.e. guide rail, because there's nothing there to prevent anybody from driving off the road into the brook, whatever you want to call it. The other one is a recommendation that we contact DOT, see if we can get them to replace the curbing from the under, basically in the general location of the fire hydrant to Stonyhurst. I know Miss Airstoff doesn't want to pave sidewalk, but if you look there, it's a hell of a hazard for any of these guys that are running up and down. From
Joe,
West
you saying curb or sidewalk?
Just curb. Just replace the curb. The sidewalk can be gravel. I mean, you've got to look at it from a safety point of view. I don't know if they can't sue the state, but and maybe they can't sue us, but it's,
Is that where the sidewalk is?
from the sidewalk ends to down to the entrance to Stonyhurst.
Harold?
The Radiant sewer plant should be in within the next
after next week.
Okay.
We ready then? So for right now, everything else is running pretty good.
Richard? Chief, I want to say to you, there was nothing on here, but, and that's not the point, but I want to thank you and the men and women of the Highland Falls Fire Department for all you do. The whistle keeps going off, you know? Thank you. Pat, you have anything?
No.
Okay. I'll take a motion.
Mr. Mayor, can you open up the floor for just 1 second? I want to comment on what Mr. McCormick said, if that's possible.
I shouldn't, but I will.
Okay, thank you very much. You know, in the many 4 or 5 years ago, 6 years ago, we installed a piece of that sidewalk from the old bowling alley to.
No, actually, from the entrance down to your Park South.
Okay, so at that time, the intention was to do another 100 feet, whether it was north or south, on our entrance to our community. And, you know, I understand some people are very sensitive about that, but to me, that's a bad eyesore. That's the first presentation to our community, and I would love to see the sidewalk extended, and I was hoping that every couple of years we could do 100 feet, 200 feet, or 300 feet. And then put evergreens in. You know, this would be some type of a gesture to West Point that we're trying to some extent, beautify this, you know, your way in. And I'm surprised that we can't use West Point's political clout to push the Department of Transportation to install sidewalks because it's a very dangerous condition. So I was hoping that we wouldn't leave this alone, and I was hoping that we could.
I don't plan on leaving it.
Okay, great.
I just think that we can look to improve, and any visual has to be improved. And it's going on for years, and we understand why, and I can understand the decisions at the time. There was a negative to putting a sidewalk in, but I'm suggesting just a curb with gravel.
Joe, can I say something just to that, real quick, just real quick? Maybe, we tried years ago to try and get something for the school too. I mean, to try and get something going across the bridge for those kids that are walking there. I mean, I tried, I went out to Orange County and tried to try and get something for the kids to walk there too. I mean, bring it all the way down to the school that the kids are walking back and forth, which would be very good. What Jimmy is saying is to bring it all the way to the school. I mean, that's something that could be looked at. I tried it and they didn't.
We'll talk to DOT. We'll use the West Point, because West Point runners are runners, West Point, but use West Point for their runners. You know, it's unsafe. And we have instructed our engineer to also try to find some grant money, i.e. again, using the school children. That whole stretch of sidewalk from Ondiora down to where it ends behind Mendowski's house, right. That whole section was done with a grant that I had gotten. So that's what we want, you know. So we'll use a couple different prongs here to go after money.
Yeah, definitely. Okay. Because I mean, we did it, and we even told them that the local contractors would do it, and they